Walkie, how are you, my friend?
How are you?
Good. Now, remember, when we talk about our birthday, very brief.
Yeah.
We all got to be
What do
super
I say?
brief.
I don't even know.
Well, I'm going to mention that you were a star swimmer. Well, I've got it written down here on my notes. So I've got that written down. But other than that, you have to say very little. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much for everything.
Yeah, exactly.
All your friendship here.
Yeah, that sort of thing. So there we go.
And
water skiing competition in high school. Where? Where in Jakarta?
Jakarta, yeah.
Water skiing in Jakarta?
No, actually, no. It's a Marang. Because I was still in high school.
Okay.
Jakarta, I went to, but it's on the Java Sea.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. They don't have lakes, so we do it on the sea. And then,
Pot is over $1,600. Get your raffle ticket. Over $1,600 in the big pot.
At least it was on the ocean, which I think will be slightly cleaner than the Jakarta waterways.
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. It's 12 o'clock. It's time to go and get lunch. Enjoy the company of your fellow Rotarians. And we'll be back in about 15 minutes to actually start the meeting. Enjoy yourselves.
Of your fiber, the longer fiber and the is what makes these shirts, special. So, once these little things pop up, right?
Raffle tickets, last call, $1,600 over for the pot. Get your raffle ticket.
No, does it? And so then you give me a private tour. I would say you're speaking, you're talking, came out of that. I found it so fast. You gotta move a bunch of dirt.
Quick interrupt.
this for his donation. Because he asked me when I came in. For like a birthday. Oh, I don't have a check, but he said, what do you want to donate to? I said, I'll do 100 for Paul Harrison. So he wrote it down, and I send it, and he's going to send me a bill.
Okay, all right. Because most people, when they're up here, they say,
Right.
It's my birthday. It's wonderful. Here's a check, and wave a
And
check
when
in front.
when I left the house, I'm like, I forgot a check. So
Doesn't matter. You can say you're donating blah 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 to whatever in honor of your birthday.
Okay.
That's all.
All right, thank you.
It's 12:15. It's now time to start our meeting. Please keep on enjoying your company, but we're now going to actually start with Pam Alexander, who is here at the table with me right now, and she's going to work on the pledge and song with us. Pam? You do know you're doing the pledge and song? I didn't know that. Well... Come here to the microphone. Okay. There's a bit of a hole.
That part
You didn't know this? I don't know.
Okay.
The pledge.
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which we stand, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Fabulous. And now it's starting.
Who say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous night o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, take us that star-spangled banner yet wave, o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Well done.
So Pam has been with us. She's in PR. She's been with us since September the 7th, 2023, so very, very new. She runs Alexander Communications, and she was at Vanderbilt University. I now have some news for you about our wonderful, wonderful long-time member, Jo Duchâtelet. She had knee replacement surgery and developed blood clots in her lungs. Not good, however, she is doing reasonably okay. She was in cardiovascular ICU, I believe. She's actually out of there now, but obviously under intense scrutiny and watch. So cards are being sent around. Please sign them. She's been with us for a long, long time, and Jo is dear to us in every way. And now, Jo Danishevsky, it's time for the inspiration.
Thank you, Margaret.
No worries, Joe.
Yeah, welcome back.
I hope you brought something for all of us.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Our Rotary Club has had the distinct pleasure of planting 2 peace poles, and they might be coming up on the screen. One that Roger Harwell really gave us oomph and helped plant the pole, and it was at the Literacy Connects. And the second one was a project, it took a little long, but it's turned out to be a wonderful accomplishment in that we have a peace pole in the entryway to the zoo. So the next time you go to the zoo, check it out. Do I hear some clapping there? Yeah. You know, Ellie Patterson is a past district governor as well as a past district president of our club. And she and I worked together to really raise the bar on the peace poles. Right now, there's actually 25 clubs that have peace poles. And there's a total of 41 peace poles. The Keno Club actually has 7 peace poles. And we have 2. I'd love to see more. If you know a place that is just calling out for a peace pole, just let me know, and we'll see if we can't make that happen. You know, we just had a wonderful Rotary meeting, the first of its kind for this club, which says a lot of all the things that we've done over the years. But weren't those service opportunities just a wonderful way to engage providing service? Yep, amen, brother. Service above self. And, you know, there was a past Rotary International president, Sakuji Tanaka, and his Rotary theme was peace through service. Peace through service. Okay. All we are saying. Oh, you can do better. All we are saying. And let there be peace on earth. Okay, there's a lot of answers going there. It's pretty cool. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Okay, good.
Good. Okay, thank you.
Lovely.
Okay.
Good on you, sir.
Fabulous, Joe. Thank you. Joe's been with us since 2018. He's a business consultant and he went to Lemoyne College. And now we have Dan Calm, who's been with us since January 2020. He's in insurance, state farm insurance, and he went to Oral Roberts University.
I'm glad you brought COVID back. Well, happy post-Thanksgiving, and I hope everybody gobbled till they wobble. I would like to say thank you to the Wine Fellowship for being the greeter line today. Thank you, Wine Fellowship. If you want to find out about being part of the greeter line or being in one of the fellowships, the Whiskey Fellowship, I believe, is this week. I'm going to introduce guests, and so if you are new to us or new to the club or new to seeing what's happening in Tucson at Tucson Rotary, feel free to ask one of us. We have a great time at Rotary, and we'd love to potentially have you as a member. So if I say your name, would you please stand so we can recognize you as a guest? From Madison downtown, I have Alan Korinsky and Kathy Korinsky. Guest of Mitch Pisek, Steve Lombardius. Guest of Joe Danishevsky, Amy Morin. Guest of Marcy Euler, Edward Wellman. Guest of the esteemed John Wong, Terry McNulty. Guest of Thomas Robertson, Zach Tavel. Zach? Zach, your biceps are bigger than my calves, just in case you're curious. Guest of Pam Alexander, TJ Juskowitz, thank you. Guest of Nancy Stockton, Bruce Marion. Guest of Nancy Stockton, Lee Wright. And guest of George Larson, Michelle Ward. Welcome all, welcome all.
I like that. Welcome.
Fabulous. So welcome all guests. It's great to have you here, and I hope you'll learn more about us and consider joining. And now we have Bruce Jacobs to come and speak to us. Whoa, who?
Who? Wow, I can even read that print, Margaret. I wouldn't need readers with that. So the primaries are over, and today is election day. So you have ballots on your tables. You need to make sure you print your name at the bottom and include your badge number. If there's no name or badge number on it, it will not be counted. If you are a guest, if you are an honorary member, or you are a family member, do not vote. And last but not least, if you did in fact vote and sent it in to me or Dorina, don't vote again. This is not Chicago. It's not vote early and vote often. So fill your ballots out right now. There's going to be a number of us coming around to collect them, and we'll be announcing at the end of the meeting on who you voted in as the 3 new board members. Thank you.
And Bruce, please don't forget to collect them from the top table. All right. Okay, and now we're going to go to the program. It's very exciting. I've just been talking to our speaker, and how many people in this room know of the town or have lived in the town Kalgoorlie? Yeah, right, quite. Hardly anybody. That's why it's exciting. Pat, sorry, we are collecting ballots and multitasking.
Thanks, President Margaret. Hello, fellow Rotarians. Good to see you, and I know I haven't been here. We are blessed today to have as our speaker someone that's going to talk about something that's relevant and insightful on an old topic that is new, and that's mining and Arizona as it relates to minerals. Dr. Kray Luxbacher is the Gregory H. and Lisa S. Boyce Chairman, Leadership Chair, and Department Head in the Mining and Geological Engineering Department at the University of Arizona. Her primary research interests are in underground mine ventilation, including monitoring and characterization of gases and particulates, fire simulation and prevention, and risk analysis. She is passionate about mining engineering education and the onshoring of mineral beneficiation. Dr. Luxbacher is active on several committees at the SME and National Academies of Committee on Earth Resources. She is a registered professional engineer. Prior to joining academia, Dr. Luxbacher worked for mining companies as an underground production foreman and engineer. In addition to her BS, MS, and PhD in mining engineering, she also earned a graduate certificate in engineering education from Virginia Tech. If you would please give a warm welcome to Dr. Kray Luxbacher.
Thank you so much for the kind introduction. I have to tell you, the last time I was at a Rotary Club meeting, it was the summer of 1997, and it was in Bluefield, West Virginia, where I had just gotten back from an exchange program in Australia, and my Rotary Club had sent me. And I would add, that was the first place I ever went in a mine. So things have really come full circle now. But again, thanks for having me and for everything that you do. So my talk is entitled, Creating a Sustainable Future in Arizona. It all starts with minerals. Let's see if I can. I'd like to begin with the University of Arizona land acknowledgement. We respectfully acknowledge the University of Arizona is on the land and territories of indigenous peoples. Today, Arizona is home to 22 federally recognized tribes, with Tucson being home to the O'odham and the Yaqui. Committed to diversity and inclusion, the university strives to build sustainable relationships with sovereign Native nations and indigenous communities through education offerings, partnerships, and community service. So, let me begin by asking you, how many minerals do you think are necessary for life, for the human body? Any guesses? 21, 32? 6? All fair guesses. Absolutely necessary are 15, 4 of which are deemed critical by the U.S. Geological Survey, and those are cobalt, magnesium, zinc, and chromium. But this assumes that you don't have a titanium joint. Any fillings in your teeth? Ever had cancer therapy, radioactive cancer therapy? And many, many other things, such as if you've been sewed up with a silver impregnated stitch to prevent a bacterial infection, then you've got lots of minerals in your body. So this is just the stuff you've absolutely got to have. And really the point of this is just to bring full circle the fact that minerals are essential for everything. They are the building blocks for everything we do, whether it's our bodies or the technologies that we rely on today, including green technologies. So I mentioned the 4 critical minerals. What is a critical mineral anyway? And this is a definition given by the United States Geological Survey. And they say that critical minerals are necessary for the manufacture of high technology devices, national defense applications, and green growth related industries. A critical commodity is one that is important for these specialized applications, yet at risk for supply disruption. Numerous elements are defined as critical and are recovered as byproducts of the production of other mineral commodities. There really aren't any germanium mines out there. Minerals like that are recovered with other minerals. So there are just 2 things to really remember about a critical mineral. It's got to be essential to the security of the country, and it's got to have a supply chain that's disruptible, which we could say a lot more than 50 of the critical minerals on the list are disruptible. Copper being a really good example of one of them. So copper's not a critical mineral in the United States by USGS standards, but the Department of Energy does say it's a critical material. And one of the reasons for that is that it is so important for all of the low carbon technologies that we're interested in implementing now, whether it's electric vehicles or wind or solar panels, wind turbines or solar panels, excuse me. And I know this is a little bit hard to see, but I just want to point out some trends to you. So this comes from the International Energy Agency. And what they're looking at here are minerals required under 2 different scenarios. So if you look to the far right, those are minerals required in 2030 and 2040 under sustainable development scenarios. Those are the last 2 bars on the far right. In the middle 2 bars are minerals required under the stated development scenarios. So those are 2 scenarios the UN recognizes. Stated scenarios are the things that we all said we're going to do. And hopefully we'll do them, right? And that will reduce emissions. The sustainable development scenarios expect us to provide modern energy to everyone, to all. And if we think about the world, there are a lot of people right now living in energy poverty. The sustainable development scenarios also expect that we'll meet the Paris Agreement goals for climate change. So that's a really ambitious goal. But what's alarming about this is that just to do what we say we're going to do, we're going to have to double mineral production by 2040. If we want to meet the sustainable development scenarios, we're going to have to quadruple mineral production by 2040. And so if you look at the 2 bars, this is mineral production required in yellow for the electricity grid and in teal for electric vehicles. And you can see that makes up the bulk of what we're looking at. And these are all things that everybody says they want. So if we look at mineral beneficiation globally, also hard to see, but I'm more interested in showing you trends than having you really see every little number. On the left, what we see is where major battery minerals are mined in the world. And those battery minerals are cobalt in yellow, lithium in red, nickel in green, and graphite in blue. And what I want you to notice is that big blue bar on the left, if you can see it, that's China, of course, mining lots and lots of graphite. If we look on the right, in the same location, there are lots of bars right on top of China. That's because they're taking all these minerals and refining them, even though they're not mining them. Much of the world is shipping their concentrate and their raw ores to China for refining. So, even if we have a mineral that we can extract so that we know our supply chain won't be disrupted, we then ship it overseas and make our supply chain all the more fragile as a result. And we don't necessarily ship to our friends. And if we look at some other countries, particularly mineral-rich countries where minerals are a big part of the GDP, countries like Indonesia, Zimbabwe, and Namibia, they are putting in laws and regulations that say we will absolutely not export raw ore from our countries. This ore will be beneficiated in country. And that's something that the United States should really be considering, and it's something that Arizona has a big part to play in because we're quite good at this. So if we begin to talk about mineral beneficiation, What you don't see on the previous slide is what the US is shipping to China. Because we're not a major producer of battery minerals, we don't even show up on that slide. But if we look at copper concentrates, for instance, and we produce a lot of copper in Arizona, as you know, I would estimate that we're shipping around 10% at a minimum of our copper concentrates to China for refining. We simply do not have the capacity to refine those concentrates in the United States. And when we ship those concentrates abroad, they very often contain other critical minerals. Those critical minerals do not find their way back into our supply chain once they've been shipped to China. I can guarantee you that. So as Americans, one of the things that frustrates me, and I see it in my friends and myself and my children, is we're all too happy to consume goods and not think a whole lot about where they come from. In particular, we're happy to consume goods that may be really not benign for the environment, very bad for the environment, as long as it's not in our own backyard, right? And so I'm a real proponent of mining in the United States because we have such strict environmental laws. I'm all for compliance with those laws. And if you're an environmentalist, you should be all about mining in the United States. Yes. I didn't know we were at a revival, but I'll take it. So for anybody who doesn't know, and I suspect you all do know how important copper is to the state of Arizona, but 71% of the copper produced in the United States comes from Arizona. Globally, demand for copper is expected to increase 600 to 900% by 2030. That is incredible, and it is so that we can meet these carbon goals. It's all for wind, solar, electric vehicles, and batteries, and don't forget the infrastructure to support all these things. When you put these things in, you've got to move power around the country, and you've got to charge those electric vehicles. So copper is just becoming more and more critical. So what are the challenges that we face around this, beyond just sheer production numbers? Fragile supply chains, obviously. We've got to onshore in the United States. We've got to work with our friends to make sure they're producing the minerals that they can, that we need. And we've got to work with our allies in the same way. The improvements that we really need are in mine permitting. Most of our friends and allies also have strict environmental regulations and societies that aren't necessarily accepting of mining. We've got to look at technology, both in extraction of ore from the ground and in how we process and refine ore. Right now, concentrates in Arizona have all kinds of critical minerals in them. We cannot economically recover those minerals from the concentrates. The technology just doesn't exist, and we've got to invest in that research. And finally, a skilled workforce, which I would say, if you look at the United States, we have the most skilled mining workforce here and the means to develop more of those people. And some of those means are at the University of Arizona, but we also have to keep in mind we have a region with large and really good community colleges. So we're well situated to develop these workforces. So I've had a mentor since I was 19 who used to say to me, Kray, in times of chaos, there is great opportunity. And I think the same is true when we look at challenges. And so that's what I want to talk about, is the opportunities for Arizona amongst these challenges. So as you know, we're home to world-class mines, and we have the opportunity to utilize that ingenuity to look at things like high automation, water use reduction and elimination. When you talk about people in the United States who can figure out how to use less water, Arizonans can do it. And mining is a water and energy-intensive industry. Recycling and remining, and how we exploit deep and challenging deposits. We have some of the most large, complex, and challenging mines in the country right here in Arizona. And a great example of that is the Morenci mine. So the Morenci mine is shown in the upper right corner in pink. This is a NASA Aster image. And so it's a thermal image, and copper shows up as pink in these images, which is why you get such a beautiful picture of the Morenci mine. Morenci is one of the most productive copper mines in the world. Last year alone, they produced 900 million pounds of copper and about 400 million pounds of molybdenum. That is incredible. And we can use their ingenuity when we look at how we design mines and do more in the United States. If we look at the Resolution mine just north of us, it's going to be the deepest mine in the United States when it comes online, one of the most highly automated underground mines in the world. And we can, again, use their ingenuity. Their air conditioning alone is incredible. As a ventilation engineer, it's fascinating. And then we go south to the new South 32 Hermosa project. They're going to be producing silver, lead, zinc, and manganese, and are in talks with many of the major battery manufacturers in the United States. So when you look at Arizona, we have a lot to offer. So how do we rise to these challenges? The first one I mentioned was permitting, and potentially the most challenging thing that we have to do. Permitting in the United States is very, very difficult, and we can see that when we look at operations around Arizona that are struggling to come online. The National Mining Association estimates it takes 7 to 10 years to permit a mine in the United States. Most industry insiders would tell you, no, it's not 7 to 10 years. A large mine's looking at 20 to 30 years to permit. So bringing these minerals into production is really, really hard to do. And what we really need to do is make sure that we bring everyone to the table. That means communities that oppose mining. That means environmentalists that oppose mining. That means the mine operators that are all for it. And we start looking at solution-oriented discussions rather than just going against each other, because at this point we understand that we need these minerals to meet our environmental goals. And again, if positive outcomes are the goal in the US, then this is the place to mine. Can I get an amen? The next challenge that we have is technology. And for me, this is the really fun challenge, right? Because I'm a researcher. It's great to research and to develop new technologies. Tucson also is home to world-class mining OEM proving grounds, such as Komatsu and Caterpillar. And the University of Arizona actually owns an underground mining laboratory. How many of you knew that? Yeah, so we have an underground mine where we can develop a lot of this technology, and we're working hard to build that mine out. We plan to develop state-of-the-art proving with industry underground for autonomous equipment, and also to build a pilot-scale processing plant where we can explore things like how do you get these other minerals out of copper concentrate. And we want to serve as a tech hub for the full suite of the mine life, including those activities. We're often referred to, as you know, as the Silicon Valley of mining, and I could not agree more. So the next challenge we have is workforce, which I already mentioned. Did I skip a slide? Perhaps, yes, I did. As I mentioned processing, I wanted to talk about this project, which is really a recycling and remining project. When we talk about recycling, the way that we crush up things and we separate all the metals is the exact same way we crush up ore and we separate all the metals. And I actually have a colleague, a really brilliant woman at Rio Tinto, who refers to these as urban ore, because we really treat it the same way when we go to process it. But we have a new project from ABOR that's going to give us $3.6 million to look at classification of tailings in the state of Arizona and how we might go about remining them. And this is really a critical project. And I wanted to share with you a quote from Paul Marsh, the state mine inspector. He said, "The large amounts of copper tailings in Arizona present an opportunity for our state to reuse this left-behind rock as a potential secondary source of metals and minerals that are critical to the economic and national security of the United States." And he's key to this kind of work happening. It's estimated that over the past 100 years, we've produced 17.5 billion tons of tailings. And I know you've seen them all over the state, right? So if we can put those to good use, that's an outstanding engineering outcome and an outstanding outcome for society. Now to workforce. So education, of course, is key to our mission. It's why I'm a professor. My department, Mining and Geological Engineering, is one of only 14 accredited mining programs left in the country. And we aim to be the biggest and the best, period. We're also fortunate to be partnered with a new school of mining and mineral resources, which is funded by state and private sources to ensure Arizona can meet education and resource demands in an interdisciplinary way. So we're not just producing mining engineers for the mining industry, we're producing environmental scientists for the mining industry. We're producing all the people that the mining industry really needs. This is especially dear to my heart, and I firmly believe that education in mining engineering and the career that follows is one of the best opportunities a student can pursue. The opportunities for travel, growth, and promotion are endless. And this is my shameless plug. If you know a student that might be interested in mining engineering, I love talking to students. The modern mining engineer utilizes many different engineering disciplines on a large and specialized scale to design and run safe mines. They're constantly synthesizing enormous data sets, creating designs and solutions that really leave a legacy. So what I want to leave you with is the idea that Arizona leads the way, and Tucson in particular as our Silicon Valley of mining. The University of Arizona, Tucson, and the region serve as the mining high-tech hub, and we should take that mantle. It's a nexus for training, technology, development, and fundamental research. We are this hub. Finally, the last thing that I want to leave you with is one of my favorite quotes, and I fear that I overuse it. I know at least one person in this room has heard me use it before. But it's from President Hoover, who happened to also be a mining engineer. And he said, "The engineer has the fascination of watching a figment of his imagination emerge with the aid of science to a plan on paper. Then it moves to realization in cement or metal or energy. Then it brings new jobs and homes to men, and women, I would add. Then it adds to the security and comfort of those homes. That is the engineer's high privilege among professions. And it truly is a privilege I feel so lucky to have. But I want to also say it's a privilege that we in Arizona have because of what we provide to the United States. And I hope you see it as a privilege as well." And with that, I'm happy to hear your comments or your questions.
I got the first one.
The old man.
Oh.
The old man.
I make parts for mining machinery. So,
yes. That's why I got the amen, right?
Dear to my heart. You know, I've been really, case in point, Rosemont Copper Project. Mm-hmm. I've been just befuddled at why we oppose at a county and city level that mine so much when we could create a partnership for them to create the most energy, environmentally friendly, efficient mine on the planet and partner with mines all over the world as an educational project. Why don't we do these kinds of things? And can you comment on the current status of Rosemont?
I won't comment on the current status of Rosemont because I honestly I'm not up on it enough to give you a smart comment. But what I will say is that, you know, I see my role as it's really important to be a neutral third party that thinks about science. So I'll start with that. But I think that in the United States for so long, we've had this very adversarial role between communities and mining companies. And that's, in fairness, you know, somewhat due to mining companies' treatment of communities. And so I just think we have to change our culture and our thinking so that the idea is we're going to come to the table and look for a compromise where everybody gets something they want, perhaps not all they want. But I think communities need to recognize that we've got to be mining these minerals in the United States and refining them here in a way that's environmentally acceptable and responsible.
One of the, bouncing off of that, as someone who doesn't really like Rosemont, but it's not for what it is or the importance. How, in your research, is there a way to develop a mine that doesn't rape and pillage the beautiful vistas and views of the people who live around the mines? I hear you saying about reusing the tailings, that's great, but these large mounds, they're really ugly. Is there some way to create a way to create the mines that we need and not ruin our beautiful landscapes?
So in the spirit of neutrality, I wouldn't use rape and pillage personally, but I understand. I take your opinion well. I do think that this is an issue, and I think that I tell students often when I'm teaching mine design, you need to learn how to design more underground mines because society is going to require that you are out of sight, out of mind. And I think that what society has to expect is that's a very expensive undertaking. Are we willing to pay more for our goods and more for these raw commodities? And the issue is some people in the U.S. are willing. Some people aren't able. And in many emerging economies, they really aren't able. And a good example is South Africa, where they're building coal-fired plants one on top of the other. Why are they doing this, people ask? Well, because they have coal, and they have a population that can afford electricity and doesn't have it. That means they can't keep their food cold, they can't keep power on in the hospitals. So I think the challenges are really complex, but I do think that we need to look more at underground mining, where you aren't destroying a landscape per se, and we also are looking at new reclamation technologies too, so that these landscapes look good when we're done mining them, and they're useful.
Oh my gosh, I'm over here going, I can ask a question, but it sounds like there's a lot of investment opportunity. Where would you go with that?
Where would I go? Oh, that's a really good question. I don't know, that's because somebody has something to say about investments, but I think mining tech right now is just booming. And you look at companies in Tucson that are really doing incredible things around autonomy, around communications underground, around monitoring. Those would be great venture capital type investments. But I think copper's a great investment right now. It's going to go up and down like it always has, but we're looking at a long-term, very bullish market for copper.
I just want to comment that we've got time for one more question and answer, but Dr. Kray is willing to stay behind afterwards because obviously we could go on all afternoon.
Well, first, thank you for your presentation, and in full disclosure, my son-in-law is in the School of Mines.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes.
I'm going to have to find out who this is.
Anyway, my question relates to the remining and recycling. We're talking about tens of thousands of tailing heaps, tens of thousands of used cars in piles. To what extent does recycling and remining mitigate the need for new mines juxtaposed against that fourfold increase of critical minerals you forecast for 2030?
I think I couldn't give you a percentage. I wish I could, but I think the challenges around recycling and remining, I'll talk about recycling because it's more challenging than remining really, are understanding what is our resource. Geologists go out and they classify a resource and they say, here's how much copper's in the ground. But these urban ores are very hard to classify and to understand what the resource is to begin with. It's hard to understand on a time continuum when they'll become available, and they certainly won't meet our needs. Because our needs are growing. So clearly the stuff we've done before will not meet our needs. I saw something somewhere that said we'll have to mine at least 3 times as much copper as we've ever mined in millennia in the next 25 years. So, I mean, the use is incredible. So recycling can't meet our needs, but it is an important piece of the puzzle. Thank you.
I just must note that I'm from a long line of coal miners. I myself have studied at the School of Mines. I worked in nickel and actually on the mines for Western Mining Corporation. So this is all very close to my heart. So thank you very much. And I think another round of applause for this. A very contentious subject. Thank you very, very much. Now, I'm not sure that you know this, Dr. Kray, but we always put a book in the Make Way for Books, which is spearheaded by David, who's there he is, president of Make Way for Books, which is our commitment, part of our commitment to literacy in Tucson. Will you please sign it, and then I'll go in. Thank you very much. Right, we now have happy birthdays, and first of all, I have to note that Rocky Red Star, her birthday, Rocky Red Star, I said, well, she's with real estate. Something you don't know about Rocky is that she was a water skiing champion in high school in Indonesia. So, Rocky, come to the fore.
I have 1 minute. Okay. First of all, thank you so much for all my friend in Rotarian for your friendship, and thank you for my sponsor, which is he's not here anymore, David Volk, and also Todd Krat. I don't see her too as my mentor, but anyway, yeah, she asked me, what do you should say for the one that I don't know. I said, I don't know. I don't have anything that I'm proud of. I probably have something that I'm not proud of, but so I'm just a common, ordinary old woman. So I'm just turning 74. So thank you so much, and we have the donation for Paul Harris.
Okay,
Thank you.
terrific, Waki. Thank you so much. Thanks, Waki. And now our very own Bruce Tunsey, whose birthday is on November the 24th. He's been with us since 2008. He's in insurance. And what you don't know about him is that he would not have made an Eagle Scout without his dad being the assistant scoutmaster. Yay, it's not what you know, but who you know.
Thank you, Margaret, and thank you all. My birthday is always around Thanksgiving. It's once in a while on Thanksgiving, as I was lucky enough last year. This year, the day after. So I'm always reminded of gratitude and being thankful around my birthday. So I was just looking at some, quotes on Thanksgiving and so forth, and it kind of ties into our day of service, our meeting that we had on our service projects, because Thanksgiving, after all, is a word of action, and every act of service is an act of thanksgiving. So I just thought that was appropriate at this time of year. So thank you very much. I am doing a donation for my Paul Harris as well. Thanks.
And as for me, it was my birthday a couple of weeks ago, November the 16th. I was flat out super sick with COVID, so I couldn't be here to tell you anything about me that's special. But trust me, I am going to give a donation to the foundation, so I'll do that very shortly. And now, after the birthdays, we have an introduction of a new member. And so, Denise Waters.
Oh, there you are. Thank you. I am delighted and honored to introduce Pam Alexander, who did our pledge and our song this morning. Little did she know that we were going to do that on the first day. I can describe, why don't you come up? I'd feel better if you were holding my hand.
Thank you.
I'm going to describe her in 3 words: ardent, committed, and gregarious. She is so fun. She's got so much to offer, and she's really going to hit Tucson with a force. So let me tell you a little bit about her. She's from Tennessee, and she graduated, and I think you already said, from Vanderbilt University. She served in the Peace Corps, and she spent her early career in Atlanta and San Francisco. She is the founder and CEO of Alexander Communications, specializing in strategic technology communications and media public relations. She is the member of the Aspen Valley Hospital Foundation and was instrumental in raising an impressive $60 million. She was a dedicated member of the Aspen Rotary, because now she'll be with the Tucson Rotary. And she served 2 terms on the board of the Aspen Community Foundation. She served 10 years on the Aspen Valley Ski Club. So we have a ski club, and you will be leading that as well. She founded Pace Ranch, which is an athletic facility here in Tucson, serving youth-oriented nonprofits and instilling a strong sense of purpose and achievement in young individuals. She is an avid cyclist. She cycled in El Tour. She's a skier, and she is a hiker. She's extremely involved in El Tour to Tucson and recently raised funds so that we could distribute over 3,000 bikes to youth in Tucson and southern Arizona. She has a passion for making an impact on the lives of young people. She most recently was inducted to the Boys and Girls Club's board of directors, so I'm very proud of that. And she was immediately nominated as what? Fundraising chair. Thank goodness. Please welcome her to the Tucson community. I know the other word I would use for her is she's going to be a force.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. You're the best. Okay. Wow. Well, thank you.
I'm just saying thanks so much to Denise, and I know some of you, and I'm getting to know some of you. There's Matt Blair and TJ Juskovitz, who I've been to a couple of meetings here. Our Rotary meetings in Aspen were at 7 a.m. every Thursday morning. I think so people could get their biking and skiing in during the day. But this is a nice change, and I'm just looking forward to getting to know all of you. And one final thing about Boys and Girls Clubs and El Tour. They really collaborated. It's kind of an example of the networking in this town because Jim Click connected me with Denise, and that allowed us to vet all of the youth who are in the Boys and Girls Club program. So 1,500 of the bikes went to not just the 5 clubhouses that Denise is in charge of, but also Sierra Vista and Bisbee and Nogales and a few others. So I think TJ and Denise have plans for expanding the program and actually helping our youth to learn skills that also fits with the workforce development program at Boys and Girls Club. So I'm glad to meet all of you, and thank you very much. Thanks, President Martin.
I'm sure that most of you know that Denise is the CEO of the Boys and Girls Clubs, and it's marvelous. She's introduced.
Chief Enthusiastic Officer is what I am.
Okay, welcome. Thank you. Marvelous.
Right, well, that's marvelous. And we now have a Paul Harris presentation. But I do welcome all new members to the club, and it's wonderful to actually to get to know you. It's great, terrific. Thanks.
It's the moment you guys have all been waiting for. Our international, I should start this with, did you know that our International Rotary Foundation has greater reach than the United Nations? We are in more countries and territories than the United Nations. So you're walking away with that tidbit today. But more importantly, today we are recognizing our fellow Rotarian Ann Lancero, who is receiving her Paul Harris Fellow +4, whose support, like many Rotarians, makes the work of the Rotary Foundation possible. Ann is currently wearing her new pin. Give me a van. She shares many reasons for being a member of Rotary. Rotary has an international focus on health, wellness, and giving many people in the world a safe and peaceful life. The 4-way test is how Anne was raised in a multicultural and military family. She has lived in many places. As a family, their door was always open to all. Anne's parents, Lucy and Ted Wyckoff, were active in Rotary in Tempe, Carmel, Flagstaff, go Jacks, and Germany. They were also very active in the Fellowship House exchange programs with both England and France. Anne is very glad that her husband Lou Lancero is a family member and is looking forward to him being more active after his retirement this December from Pima Heart and Vascular. She has been a realtor with Coldwell Banker for 17 years, and after being a registered nurse for 40 years. She has a Bachelor of Science in Nursing from, unfortunately, ASU. But she has a redeeming quality because she has her Master's of Science in Nursing from the U of A. She has 2 daughters, ages 36 and 45, 2 grandchildren, and she would like to thank Alan Rogers as her sponsor and Pauline Heckler, who was her mentor. At this time, I would love for you all to join me in congratulating Anne and her Paul Harris +4.
And of course, you could tell that Jen is a past president. She's well used to the microphone. And now we have Sergeant at Arms Dan Calm, who's been with us since January the 9th, 2020.
All right. So the pot is over $1,700, which is kind of exciting, right? $1,703. The small winnings today is $90. So we'll go ahead and I'll let you shuffle. I'll pull the ticket.
You let me shuffle?
Shuffle.
Play fish.
You do the best you can. The number 499 3 6 1. Walkie won. All right.
Oh, no.
She did not get it, but she gets. There is the small pen.
Announcements. I'm going to get through these very rapidly. The December schedule should be on a slide. You can see there. Please do take note. And also go onto the website and see what we have and what we have not got coming up in December. But it is an exciting time. We've got mixers, we've got holiday meetings, we've got so much going on. But no lunch on the 27th of December, a mixer on the 21st, but you can read that as well as I. Diana Medeiros. There you are. You snuck up on me.
Hi, everybody. Remember our service awards lunch, or not awards lunch, our service project lunch? Well, I have the privilege of announcing the first monthly winner. So just a couple updates before that. Remember to turn in your sheets for your points the month that you worked on that project. The sheets are on the website. Dorena, do you have any sheets here? Blank sheets here? She's not listening to me. They're yes, she said. So turn in your sheets. We're not going to call you to remind you, so it's going to be up to you. You can only win the monthly prize one time. To qualify for the year-end prize, you have to have at least 5 points. And then you'll be put into the drawing. And whoever picks first will get to pick their prize, except the Rotarian with the most overall prizes gets the first choice. Everybody else gets their raffle tickets put in. And then please note, committee work, organizational work, meetings and workshops, conferences are not eligible for points. So good luck to everybody. Yes. All right. Who is the winner of the first $50 gift certificate? You get to choose between Starbucks, the movies, or Fox Restaurants. Mr. Chuck Sawyer. Congratulations. So see me afterwards. And Chuck had 6 points. He had 6 days of service, and that was only for October. So thank you for that. Yeah.
Isn't Diana Medeiros absolutely brilliant with her planning and her structures of this service project? All praise and thank you. Yeah, okay. Alan Rogers is not here with us, but I believe that Dan is going to mention what Alan would otherwise be doing.
If I could have the next slide, please. I believe that the holiday mixer is December 21st at Brother John's in the private room, which is on the south side of the restaurant. Sign-ups are going to come on soon, so there's no lunch meeting that week, 12:20, but it's going to be Thursday, December 21st from 6 to 9.
You got that? See you all there. It's a great room, is that room in Brother John's. Thank you so much, Dan. Good. Lisa Fogel, Handbags of Hope. We just need a microphone to get to you.
So on behalf of the Haven, just want to thank the membership for really coming through on the Handbags of Hope project. Piles and piles. So want to also invite you, if you're interested in a tour, to help us in the gift giving process at the Haven. We're going to put together a date sometime between now and probably next Wednesday. I would like to know if there's anybody interested in helping out, and so let me or Amy know. We also had a couple of people ask if they could make monetary donations as opposed to the gently used purses and items, and definitely speak with Amy about that as well. All right, thank you again.
Thanks, Lisa.
Fabulous.
And I'd like to note that Mitch Piesick's mum donated 18 handbags and had a personal conversation with me about it, so all praise to her. Fabulous. And I brought in such a heavy bag, I've now got muscles. I do. Jeannie.
All right, so I have my Happy Jackson here. I went to visit my brand new grandson there, Basil Cole Bellis in Iowa, and I left on November 5th, and I talked to Dorena in advance and said, could I get one of those cute little stuffed animals to take? And I said I'd bring my Happy Jackson when I was back. But anyway, we're delighted. It's our first grandson. And I swear Pete got the smile, which the rest of us are just happy to hold him. He's just the most precious baby. So anyway, thank you for the program.
I need some pronunciation training. Is it Basil or Basil? Education over. Basil Faulty. Mark, where are you, dear? Mark.
Okay, so this is pretty cool. So our honorary member, Adia Barnes, I was with her about a week or so ago, and she told me they were about 100 tickets away from breaking the record for the most season tickets ever sold for a U of A women's basketball game. Yeah. When our group was over there visiting with her, we bought like 30 season tickets, and then since then a whole bunch of other tickets have been bought. I understand that actually the record has been broken, but I will tell you, if you want to be a part of the group that helps smash that record, now's the time to do it. So that's our honorary member. This is the club that when Chuck Sawyer was president, used every influence he could to get everybody to go see Adia when they made the NIT run and won that. I know, Drew, you guys were there because you're season ticket holders. But if you don't have tickets, they're very inexpensive. They're really a fun game. And if you want to go see women that don't have any egos at all and just make stuff happen, it's a fun one to go see.
So terrific. Read the slides.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fabulous. I encourage everybody to help smash the records per Mark.
Oh,
ice skating.
Holiday ice. So everybody's complaining because they can't get in and out of here as well as they'd like to.
Yeah,
so
right.
that's the ice rink that Rio Nuevo bought way back when I was on the board. The city of Tucson runs it. We let them keep all the proceeds. And it's out front, and it's a really cool deal. So whether you skate, if you don't skate, they have those little dolphins you can sit on and get pushed around. I think I saw TJ on one the other day. And it was just a really fun deal. So if you got skates, they got the whole 9 yards. They usually bring in a food truck in on the weekend. So have fun. It's your outdoor holiday ice skate rink in Tucson, Arizona. Only one of 2 rinks in the city, by the way.
Brilliant. Mark, past president, thank you so very much. And now it's Chuck. He's got some exciting news for us. I'm dying to hear. Also past president.
Thank you, President Margaret. First, we'd like to start, the past presidents would like to start by thanking all of the candidates who ran for the board. It was a great group of folks, and it was a tight election as you'd expect. It came down to 1 vote at the end. But our 3 new directors who will be joining the board, we have Diana Medeiros, Jason Graybosch, and Michael Guyman. Thank you all very much. And can the new board members come up after the meeting here just for a quick meeting? So quick meeting up here. Thank you all for voting. Thank you all for running.
Very, very exciting indeed. Absolutely. So now our meeting is coming to an end. But I want to thank you all and to our virtual guests for being here today, and I hope you enjoyed the meeting. I think it was a fabulous meeting. It really was very good. We learned an awful lot about mining, and we understand, I think, more about the need for the mining industry here. I want to welcome to all our guests, and please, please come back. If anybody would like to donate to the scholarships, the blue tin mugs are on the tables. Please do so. Thank you very much for that. I want to say happy birthday to Wocky, to Bruce, and to myself, of course. I want to welcome Pam Alexander to Rotary, and congratulations to Anne on your 4th Paul Harris. Fabulous, thank you very much. This is a brief reminder for the board members, the current board members. We have a meeting right afterwards in the in the meeting room just next door. No, we're actually going to meet in here. Okay, brief meeting in here. Don't have to walk very far. Now, next meeting, December the 6th, it's going to be fabulous. Craig Van Slyke and Miles Green. Now, if I'm correct, he sounds a bit like me, or I like him. So it'd be great to hear another English accent on stage. And they're going to be talking about saving San Javier, which is a wonderful project. So all of you go to San Javier. It's marvelous. There we go. It's on the slide there. Toast and adjourn. Joe Danjewski.
A toast to Tucson, the new Silicon Valley. of mining and fun.
Talking about fun, I just have my joke. What do you call a dinosaur who knows all the words? A thesaurus.
I thought she was. I had to go to